What's that you say? You say what now? Oh, my phone? Yes, you're right. I do have it. It's the iPhone 7 Plus. I picked it up yesterday, y'all. I love my phone. Anyway, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox, and I am coming to you with the 32nd installment of Black Girls on Television. You guys, condensation. That is the name of the game today. If you guys have been watching me for at least a year, then I might need to remind you that it is budget season. And you guys know I hate budget season with all of my entire heart and soul and being. And every year I think that I'm not going to do it again, and every year I have to do it again. I hate it. It's not as stressful as it has been in the past. You know, they've streamlined a lot of things, but still, it's just the whole idea, the money, the numbers. I'm not a numbers person, you know. It's like, why am I doing this? Anyway, so I have to get back to work. So I'm telling you, this is fixing to, I know y'all don't believe me, but we gonna get it like this. Y'all see this? This is what we doing to the shows today. I know y'all don't believe me, but watch me do it. Okay, let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens. Lucius is still trying to get back good with Cookie. Okay, he's sending her gifts. She's just like, send all that shit back. She don't want it, definitely not from him. In the meantime, Anika's interviewing nannies at the house, and Lucius was like, who told you that you could have a nanny in my damn house? I don't need nobody sneaking around in my house that I don't know. And she's all, I can't do it by myself. Thinking like, why can't you? What else do you do? Crazy Granny said, I'll take care of the baby. I did it before. And she was like, you keep your crazy hands away from my baby. Now, Jamal is talking to Angela Yee on the radio, and he's there with the councilman. I don't know what his name is. Councilman Diggs, okay? And, you know, Councilman Diggs is trying to get Jamal to, you know, get involved in this whole community effort, you know, to save victims, okay, of the community, at-risk children, you know, the type. At first, it looks like they're not going to hit it off. You know, he tells Jamal that he has PTSD, and Jamal's like, you know, you're not a doctor, so don't diagnose me, okay? But after they talk a little bit more, chop it up on the radio, you know, Jamal realizes that maybe this is something that he would like to do, help the youth. When it's over, Cookie goes up to him and is just like, why are you doing this? You know, and Jamal was just like, you know, because there's women out there just like Fantageloaf who needs my help. Okay, so I think this is a good thing. Cookie don't like the idea. She just don't like Councilman Diggs. Now, Lucius is talking to Nessa and Shine. Okay, looks like she is the new star of Empire streaming service. Shine said, we could have been doing this. Okay, you shouldn't have never cut me off. Lucius is like, I don't know what I was thinking. Hakeem is there, and Hakeem was like, well, me and Shine working on some stuff. You know, I'm thinking about putting out an album like Kanye, but better. I bet you Kanye would beg to differ. Nessa likes the idea of that, but Lucius was like, nah, baby girl, you don't need to work with Hakeem, okay? He got other responsibilities. He's a damn daddy, and he can't hardly do that right. We'll worry about Hakeem later. Me and Shine got shit to talk about now. And in walks Cookie to the office of the Empire, and, you know, she's just like, you're gonna have to stop sending me these gifts. I need you to respect my boundaries. You know, Lucius, of course, doesn't respect anything, okay? So boundaries is the least of his worries. They have a little flashback of when they first got together, you know. It seems like it's gonna be a lot of that going on this season. He was just like, you know, remember when we, you know, it's always remember when we was younger, and they go back into when they first met each other on the streets of New York, wherever that was, or Chicago, was it? Well, where was it, y'all? Anyway, back in the present, Lucius was like, we've always worked well together, you know, we were supposed to be together. And she was just like, look, I told you, you the music, I'm the business, or I'm the business, you the music, whichever way they had it going. Let's keep it at that, you know. Lucius gets a little kick out of that. Now, the day comes when Jamal and Councilman Diggs is at the Empire offices, and, you know, Jamal is showing all the kids around, and they see Lucius, and one of the kids is excited, says, oh, you know what, I want to be just like you. I want to be just like you, an MC. You know, I even got a rap. You know, he throws out a little corny rap. You know, Lucius is, he's tickled by it. And this is his chance to offer Councilman Diggs his services. You know what? How about you have that summit thing at Empires? You can have your whole big thing here. You know, we'll make a big deal out of it. You know, the streaming event. You know, we could just have the kids on stage. It'll be a good time. Councilman Diggs is with it. Jamal is trying to figure out like, okay, what's the angle you got here, Dad? Lucius is like, don't worry about it. Just make sure that your mama get the music together for this show. Now, Cookie and Becky are talking. It looks like Becky is trying to get this A&R position at Empire, but nobody is really seeming to take her seriously, okay? Lucius interrupts the damn meeting, you know, and Becky's just like, whatever. Okay. He got a new track for Jamal. And since Jamal won't take the music from him, maybe Cookie will give the song to Jamal. Cookie's like, I know what you're trying to do, Lucius, but Jamal doesn't have a problem, okay? Just leave him alone. Again, we go back to the flashbacks when they was a child and, they was listening to You Got What I Need, on the basketball courts. And then back in the present, Lucius tells her, we've always worked well together, okay? It's you and me, baby. She's like, don't try to break me down. Have a good day. Now back at Jamal's apartment, child, Paul bit crazy. He just having a time. He's yelling, he's screaming, where are you? I need you. Where are you? Rhonda's voice is coming through like, you shouldn't have left me kind of thing. And Jamal hears his brother screaming and yelling. And he comes out and he was just like, Big Crazy, who you talking to? He comes running up to him like, Jamal, I ain't gonna make it. I can't do it. Like, I got all this medication and I don't know which day. And I suppose, he's going through all of this, poor child. It's actually very sad. And it's actually very, very dramatic for a show like this. But he's putting his all into it. I will say that. Jamal feels really sorry for him. He's like, listen, big brother. I got you. I mean, I got my shit going on with these pills too. And I'm trying to keep everything in order. I'm gonna keep your shit in order too. I'm gonna get us some little cute little, Tupperware little things and put all the pills in there from day to day, and that way we gonna have all our shit and we gonna be straight. Now Cookie takes it on down to Leviticus and she sees Lucius down there talking to the government people. She got a problem with that. Why are you talking with all these fake ass people? I don't even know why you trying to have this big summit up there at Empire anyway. He was just like, I know what's going on with Jamal. This is all a cover for him, because of the fact that he can't sing. Cookie was just like, he can sing. Stop saying that about your damn son. Here come old Councilman Diggs. He's smooth as pie. He comes up telling, Lucius, thanks for helping. And Cookie goes off on them again. Okay, you old slick talking, shady ass, bougie ass nigga. No, we ain't trying to be involved in your shit. You always talking about the victims, but you don't mean nothing about these victims. You don't care about these victims. I mean, she just goes way, way, way off on Councilman Diggs. I don't know many black men or anybody around that would take that kind of beating. But you know what? Councilman Diggs realizes that, Cookie's ghetto. He got to have a little bit more patience with her. She walks off and Jamal looks at her and looks at Lucius. And he was like, dang, I ain't seen mama go off on nobody like that except for you. And now Lucius has a little bug in his ear like, she do seem to be quite passionate about Councilman Diggs. Maybe I better keep my eye on this. But Lucius is still trying to get Cookie, okay? Next morning, Cookie is asleep in her bed. She hears music playing. She jumps up, opens the door to her boudoir, and who should be standing there but Biz Markie? I was like, that shit would scare me first thing in the morning, but whatever. He's singing, You Got What I Need. He got his DJ there, Lucius is there, she has a good time. She's thankful. Oh, Biz Markie, thanks so much, After he leaves, Lucius was like, that was good, huh? She was just like, yeah, that was good, but you still ain't getting none, bruh. Quit trying to hit me with the sentimental crap, okay? It ain't gonna work. This time we get the flashback of Cookie when she was younger and actually trying to talk to this boy named Barry in the neighborhood. Barry was total opposite of Lucius. He was the nerdy, going away to college, smart kid. And Barry wanted to be with Cookie. Cookie wasn't ready to tie herself down to Barry. Back in the present, Lucius says he was always determined to get her. Okay, they were destined for each other. Because Cookie always knew that Lucius's last stop was not at gangster, that his future was music, that was his life, and that was his destiny. And since she helped him get there, he just realizes that them two are supposed to be together. Now, Cookie, I guess she gonna check on, her son Andre at the house, and, she trying to tell him maybe he need to go to church and cleanse his soul. And he's like, what soul? What soul? What's going on with his voice? I mean, do we have to do this deep, is it conflicted, tortured voice, child? That's his Shakespearean, background coming to play, but he say he ain't going back to church, She tells him that she's proud of him, that he's always been really strong. He's fought his way. He's made it all on his own. And he can keep fighting even through this, no matter what. Okay, we all gonna be here for you. So that was a nice little pep talk from his mama, right? Flipping over to Hakeem, we see him and Nessa working in the studio. And you can already tell that there's going to be something going on. Even in the words of the song that they were singing and rapping, it was looking like these two was gonna eventually hook up. But there might be a problem because Shine don't play that. There's somebody sitting over in the side of the studio and just chilling in the couch, and they happen to look up at Nessa and, kind of look at her longingly, maybe a little bit lustfully, and child, why they do that? Honey, Shine went over there and bust a nigga in the face, knocked him clean out. He was like, don't you ever look at my sister. Don't you even think about it. Don't do nothing. Don't breathe away. I was like, Hakeem, bro, you don't want that to be you. You better step real lightly with Miss Nessa. Now we get to Summit. We got Councilman Diggs up there talking. Portia's there with Cookie, and she was like, I don't know what your problem is with Councilman Diggs, but he is fine. Okay, looks like this is the first time that Cookie didn't realize it, I guess. Anyway, Councilman is up there talking about the community. Okay, he changes the word victims since Cookie was like, you always using victims. Okay, these kids ain't victims. What are you gonna do for these kids? All of that she did. So he gets up there and he talks about how he gonna help the kids and whatnot. And then he introduces Lucius. Okay, so Lucius gets up there. Lucius does his regular song and dance, talking about the community and all of that. And now he's so proud of his children. Of course, Jamal that's there who got this whole thing together. Jamal, come on up and sing. And it would be real fitting because you ain't sang since the Ace Award. So I think that this would be the perfect time to get up there. So, Jamal looking around like, ugh. And Cookie looking like, Lucius, you motherfucker. Jamal jumps up there on the stage, and as soon as he get up there, he get to breathing hard, and lights and flashing get to going, and he starts hyperventilating, and he looking around in the room, look like how that meme of Krabby, what's his name, the SpongeBob thing where everything is spinning in the background. That's Jamal right now. He rushes off, he runs down the hallway, he falls down on the ground, he can't breathe, he doing all this. That's tiring for the voice. Cookie come, baby, just breathe. It's gonna be okay. Lucius comes, strolling down. Oh, child, I'm a faint. Oh, shouldn't have been breathing like that. Let me get it together. Anyway, Lucius comes and Cookie was like, you asshole, why would you do that to your son? And he was like, this is proof right here that he can't sing no more. Jamal was like, I'm scared. Okay, is that what you want? Is that what you want to hear me say? I'm afraid. I don't want to get up there. I can't do it anymore. Lucius' look on his face was just like, I told you. So now Cookie asked Lucius, now how do we fix Jamal? He was like, you said we. That means you and me together. We still working together. Us against the world, baby. Us against the world. Okay, Councilman Diggs comes up and interrupts. This time Cookie got a different approach. Okay, she just a sweet talking and talking real nice to Mr. Councilman Diggs. Okay, enough so that, Lucius kind of notices and backs up. Like, ain't this about a bitch? I guess these two just in a conversation together. I loved that one part in his speech when he was talking to the Summit folks and he was like, and I'm going to thank her over and over and over again. I was like, ooh, child, what kind of thanking you gonna do? Y'all caught that, didn't you? Anyway, now that it looks like Cookie done got the eye on Councilman Diggs, when she walks off, Councilman Diggs tried to continue his conversation with Lucius. Lucius was like, you know what, I changed my mind. Maybe you do need to call me Mr. Lyons, okay? Motherfucker trying to sneak in on my wife. Now, I don't know what's going on with Becky, but, Becky is still trying to stay loyal to Lucius, but her boyfriend is telling her, we need to get the hell up out of here. The FBI is fixing to storm this place, and everything in it is going to burn down to the ground. We need to get the hell up out of here. They're not serious about giving you this A&R position anyway. Like I said, she feels torn because she's loyal to Lucius. He gave her a start when nobody else would give her the start, okay? But, like Brother Man said, maybe it's time to start looking out for self, Becky. They won't even listen to you in the damn meeting. Now we get a touching little scene of the three brothers together talking. We get these every now and then when, they talking about how they gonna overcome their issues, okay? Jamal gonna get over his, addiction to these pain pills and the fact that he can, can't sing no more. He gonna get out there and sing one day soon. Hakeem is gonna be a better man. He's gonna be a good father to his baby. And Andre is gonna get over his craziness and thinking that Rhonda's, standing right around the corner getting something out the refrigerator. I should make fun. I know, y'all. Somebody gonna be like, you should not be making fun of mental illness. I'm not. It's the TV show, not real life people, y'all, okay? Andre say, you know what? I'm gonna get it together. Actually, I'm gonna work on it today. I'm gonna have this whole moment. I'm gonna go to the house and get the rest of my shit and bring it over here, okay? So they said, okay, good. We get another flashback, this time from Tyreek. Okay, and we see that Tyreek is trying to play with Lucius and have a good time with him as, Lucius when he was younger. And the mama pulls him away and was like, don't you ever talk to that boy Lucius. Him and his crazy ass mama, they ain't been nothing but problems for us. Don't you talk to him. But you could tell that Tyreek wanted to be friends with Lucius. So this lets you know that probably Tyreek still has those feelings, even though he's hell-bent on busting Lucius. It might be because of the fact that he's upset that they never really have been able to have a relationship. So we're going to see what happens there. Something tells me that Tyreek is going to change. And then lastly, you guys, in our ode to social responsibilities, we have the required scene of Andre when he's coming out of his house, you know, packing up his car, and the police pull up, and they was like, "Oh, what you doing there, son? You bringing it to the house in the middle of the day, in the middle of the street, with regular clothes on, all out willy-nilly?" You know, he was like, "Yeah, I used to live here." And they were like, "What? You talking back? Okay, put your hands up." Andre is like, "Put my hands up." Oh, you know what? They go over to him. Classic scene of the police harassing him. They slam him down on the ground. They pull a gun out in his face. Okay, and I was like, y'all don't know you fucking with now. This is big crazy. He gonna get Rhonda. She gonna come flying down from the sky and jump on one of y'all back and fuck you up. That's it for Empire. Ooh, you guys, How to Get Away with Murder stresses me out every time I have to review it because it's so hard for me. I don't know why. And then last night's episode, I could not stay focused. I think I had done too much yesterday. Y'all know. What did you say? Did I get my phone? Yes, I did. I did so much yesterday that I think I just couldn't settle down enough to understand what was going on. So we gon' this again. Y'all see this right here? I'm going to double it on y'all this time. The show opens 2 months in the future when, you know, Annalise realizes her house is burning down. The police are questioning her. She feels that they're accusing her of, I guess, burning her own house down. She was like, "If you want to arrest me, then go on and arrest me." We jump back to the present. She's in bed with real nice Nate, y'all. That's his new name. Ooh, that Nate. Child, I done lost track of what the hell I was saying. Anyway, pillow talk, child. Nate get up and go get in the shower. While he in the shower, she goes and gets the little phone, you know, calls it. And your boy, fine ass Frank, that's his name. He answers the phone, you know, "I had to do it. I'm so sorry he's dead." I was like, "Frank, you crying? I'm gonna need you to man up, Frank. Fuck you crying for? It was either him or you." While she's listening to Frank, Nate ain't made it into the shower yet. You know, he come back in the room and she hurries up and hides the phone. Okay, he was like, "Come get in the shower with me," but he realizes that she was doing something. Her phone rings. Her regular cell phone rings, and they tell her she need to come on down to the president's office. So she goes down to the president's office. They tell her that they investigating these flyers. They're going to get down to the bottom of it. She's like, "I'm not worried about it. It's probably just some mad student." You know, they were like, "Yeah, we probably figured that's what it was too, but we still going to investigate it." "How's the clinic going?" "The clinic is going fine." When she leaves the president's office, she sees Wes outside. You know, he's like, "Oh, you coming out the president's office? Everything okay?" She was like, "Yeah, everything's good." She was like, "How about you come move in with me?" I was like, "That's random." Okay, he was like, "No, you know I can't move in with you. I got a new girl. You know we can't be bumping and grinding in your place." She was just like, "Okay, well, suit yourself. You want to stay in that old raggedy ass apartment that you in, that's fine." Okay, but I did offer. When Annalise makes it back to her house, she sees Bonnie and Laurel. You know, they whispering about Frank. You know, Annalise is like, "What y'all whispering about?" Annalise goes upstairs, and I guess she didn't had enough of all of this, so she destroys the burner phone. Destroys it. She don't want to talk to Finance Frank no more. Speaking of Finance Frank, we see him crash a car. Okay, get the body out the trunk of the man that he done killed, put him in the car, set the car on fire. Okay, he got to get rid of this evidence. Oliver and Connor, I'm going to tell you right now that they are going to be the ones that get on my fucking nerves this entire season. I can already tell. Every time I see them two together, I just be, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" Oh, Shonda, you always manage to put this kind of shit in your shows. You know, I guess Connor is trying to figure out his relationship with Oliver, you know, since he got dumped. Okay, but they still, you know, he asked him, do he want him to walk with him to class or some shit? And, you know, I was just like, "Oh, I can't. Anyway, they get to class. Okay, the Keaton 5 plus everybody else. Okay, they sit on down. Annalise is talking. Okay, and Oliver, he's over there. He's all dressed up in his suit and tie. Annalise was like, "Why are you here?" He was like, "Well, remember you told me you wanted to introduce me." She was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." All right, everybody, this is Oliver. He is going to be helping us. He is the new clinic's technology expert. Okay, you guys feel free to use him. Oliver is like, "As long as it's legal." As if to say that all he been working on is illegal shit for Annalise. She is like, "Motherfucker, go sit your ass down somewhere over there." Anyways, they're working on this new case. I told you guys the cases. I'm not going to be getting deep into the cases, but it's this woman named Irene who's going up against a parole board. She's been in jail for many, many years for killing her husband. Her husband used to beat her. And, you know, after everybody has to compete to try to get the position of first chair, the lady finally settles and she picks Connor. Connor has the job. Now Wes, you know, he get to thinking about Annalise asking him to move in, and he asked her why. You know, "Why'd you ask me?" And she was just like, "Because I'm lonely. I'm tired of eating by myself. That's why." Okay, figured that you would be good company. Then Annalise, you know, she get to thinking about what's going on. She calls you know, real nice Nate, and she says, "I want you to help me find Finance Frank because I think he might have the potential for violence, you know." Real Nice Nate was like, potential. And she was just like, okay, all right. I mean, you know. He was like, he set me up for murder, remember? I know, you know. He was just like, okay. He agrees to help her. Now, you know, as far as the case goes, you know, they trying to get their teams together. You know, Connor's, he not really inspirational to the team. You know, Annalise was like, don't be setting up shit just because you down on your luck. I mean, just because your shit ain't going right don't mean you got to set the team up wrong like that. You know, get this shit right. So he whips into shape and he gets everybody to start, you know, working on the case. Now, Annalise is talking to Bonnie. Bonnie tells her that Laurel asked her, did she ever talk to Frank? And Bonnie tells Annalise, I told her no, but, you know, the fact that she was asking me that made me, you know, pull her call logs. And sure enough, she has been calling Frank. So, you know, she might be in touch with him. We got to keep our eye on her. But let me handle this. I got it. Now, we see Connor at the parole board. You know, he's sitting there with Irene, and the parole board, basically, to make a long story short, they are bullying Irene. They treating her like shit. You know, this is old white men, like Annalise said, that ain't really gonna believe in her story and probably throw her ass back in jail again. Okay, they all asking her questions, but these aren't anything that's really gonna help her open up, you know, and she kind of sitting there like snarling at them, and they're doing the same at her. Connor blows up on him. You need to listen to this woman. She's had a hard life. Annalise is just kind of looking like, you know, shut up, Connor. When they take a little break, you know, he's like, damn it, I blew it. I shouldn't have went off like that. Annalise says, just relax. Okay, we're going to see what happens when we get back in the room. We get a little clip of Asher and Michaela. Okay, they still having sex, so at least he got his face into place. But she doesn't seem to like him, but she loves having sex with him. So I guess that's another relationship that's going to go on all season. Real Nice Nate has found Frank. He's in Wichita, Kansas. We don't know why he's there, but that's where he is. Another relationship that looks like it's trying to get started, but of course Wes is not going to let it happen because he's got his cute little black girlfriend. Laurel is researching the murder and trying to find out, you know, more about Wes's dad getting killed out there. Okay, she said that she was just checking on that. She's also checking on his girlfriend. Okay, and that she's clean as a whistle. Okay, is that a saying, clean as a whistle? Guess some whistles might not be clean, all that breath and spit, but child, that's neither here nor there, right? He says, I know, because I checked her also. When you live around in these parts, you can't trust no motherfucker. Now, back to the case, Connor is talking to Irene, and he's trying to get her to open up, and she won't do it. So you know what? Connor takes a chance, and he tells her, you know what? I did what you did. I killed somebody. And I didn't tell nobody. And I've been living with this secret for the last year, and you know what it does? Even though you don't tell anybody, you know, they start to believe that something is wrong with you, that you lying all the time, and they don't believe nothing that you say. And you don't want that to happen. You open up and you tell them what's going on so that they can understand what happened to you. Annalise is listening from the door. She's just shaking her head like, I know this motherfucker did not just tell him, this woman, that he killed somebody. Fuck wrong with him? So she pulls him to the side. Listen, I don't know what come to Jesus moment you just had, but do not be telling people about the fact that y'all done killed some damn body. Okay, I done put my whole life on the line for you guys. My reputation, my career, my life. I am protecting you guys, and I don't need you telling random motherfuckers that's trying to get out of jail that you killed somebody, okay? But it looks like it works. They go back before the parole board, and Irene looks like she's not going to say anything at first. You know, the mean old white men are questioning her at first, and she's just quiet. She's just looking at them, you know, stoic, not saying anything. And then I guess she thinks about what Connor said, and she tells him there weren't no doors in the house because he didn't want me to hide away from him. Used to beat the hell out of me all the time. Got sick of that shit. I killed that motherfucker. And you know what? I ain't even mad about it. I'm not sad about it. I don't regret it one bit. Because that one action is what made me free. Okay, and that's deep when you think about somebody that's been in jail for the last, I guess, 20, 30 years or something. I'd rather be in jail than fuck with this crazy ass, okay? So they grant her parole. Connor has won his case. Now, Annalise goes back to the president's office because I guess they're going to update her on what's going on with these flyers, okay? And they said, listen, we going to try to keep everybody safe, okay? Keep you safe, keep the students safe, keep the schools safe. And to do that, we got to suspend you. So you're going to have to get the hell up out of that classroom. They've been trying to get Annalise out of there. Annalise was like, no. They was like, no. She was like, no. I'm the victim here. I'm the one that's being harassed. They're putting flyers up around the school about me, and the way you handle that is suspend me? I'm not going no fucking where. I guess you can lock me out of my class if you want to, but you can't stop me from teaching my kids. I have all them motherfuckers come to the Annalise house. You got the hell up out of there, honey. You got to get up pretty early in the morning to fire Miss Annalise Keaton. Now Connor, you know, he's all touched from what happened at his at his case, and he won. He takes it on home, and Oliver is there, and so he tells Oliver how much he loves him and how much he needs him and how happy Oliver makes him, and just give him the chance to make Oliver happy too. And Oliver, he's like, I love you too, but I can't be with you. I was just like, here we go. Oh my God. Oliver wants to be alone. The only thing that's going to make Oliver happy is if Connor leaves him alone, let him go. Okay, so Connor's like, fine, I'm moving out. But Oliver looked like he didn't want him to go. I was just like, this ain't some old bitch ass. Just some old wimpy bitch shit. But, okay. Now jump over to Bonnie and Laurel. Bonnie got Laurel at the pool hall, and she got Laurel tossing them back so she can loosen her up to talk to see if she's been, talking to Frank. She asked her, has she hooked up with Frank? Laurel says no. Okay, Laurel asks Bonnie, does she talk to Frank? Bonnie says, do you talk to Frank? She was like, okay, let me come clean. I ain't talked to him, but I have been calling, leaving voicemail messages, and it's never full, so I know he's checking them. Bonnie says, okay, well, you got to be careful with that, because if Annalise finds out, and Laurel's like, I know, if she finds out, that's my ass, but I love him. I can't help it. Bonnie was like, listen, if you knew what was best for you, you would stop thinking about him. You would stop talking to him on the voicemail. You would stop calling. You would just leave it. Just get all that out your mind. Because I know stuff, and Annalise knows stuff about Finance Frank that you just don't need to know. Okay, so just leave it at that. Speaking of Finance Frank, real nice Nate calls Annalise and tells her that he lost Finance Frank. And she was just like, you lost him? He was like, yeah, real slippery, hard to keep track of Finance Frank. So I'm gonna stay at your house until we figure out where he is. And first Annalise looked like she going to object, but honey, I guess she thought the thought of real nice Nate in her bed every night, honey, that ain't a bad thought if you ask me. So she says okay. Connor's brokenhearted. He shows up at Michaela's house, asking he crashed there. He's crying, whatnots. And right when he's walking in, there's Asher coming out the bedroom. She was just like, yeah, me and Asher, we schooling. He was just like, oh, okay, that's fine. I still like to crash here. So now Michaela has Asher and Connor there. Now Wes, I guess he felt sorry about Annalise saying that she's lonely, so he goes to the house and he tells her, you know what, Laurel has told me that you've been checking up on me, that you're keeping tabs on the whole case. And I know that you worry about me. And Annalise was like, yeah, I do worry about you. Okay. But you ain't got to worry about me no more because my man is coming over. He gonna be staying with me. So, Wes has to get on, Annalise, she's having her drinks. She's about to get towed up. But I guess Annalise and Bonnie have a plan. Okay, they have Laurel call Frank. She leaves a message for him. She really wants him to call her. She wants to talk to him. Okay, so they hoping that Frank falls for it now that Bonnie and Laurel and Annalise are all working together. Maybe we can get him back and figure out what the hell going on with Finance Frank. And then at the end of the show, it's back to the future, 2 months out, when the house is burning down and everything. Annalise is about to get arrested. I guess when she told him to arrest, they was like, bitch, that's what we gonna do. So she's about to get arrested. Oliver runs up, so at least we know that it's not Oliver under that sheet. He was just like, is there anything I can do? She walks up to him real close, looked like she's gonna give him a hug, but instead she hands him a phone. Real slick and sly. She says, clean this motherfucker clean. It best not be nothing left on here. He takes it and he puts it in his pocket. And then, she gets carried off to the paddy wagon with the police in handcuffs. So, looks like they arrested Annalise. I guess maybe she gonna have to, take one for the team again. Alright, you guys, that is it. I am at the mall. I gotta get some shoes serviced, some shoes fixed. So I'm about to run in here and get that done and then get on back to work. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. Alright. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.